most of the small business owners in my network, they are solopreneurs. And when you're a solopreneur, you have this unique ability to sort of gaslight yourself and convince yourself that you are the only one who struggles with this, is fighting that, right? Like can't figure out fill in the blank. And that sort of mindset and mentality really makes people shrink. And because they start to think like they can't do things. And we all have already done the hardest thing by starting a business. Mm-hmm. And so we have it in us to do really hard things. But when you think you are the only person struggling with something, your ego can get in the way and prevent you from reaching out for help or advice or guidance, or just even like really admitting that you're having a problem that you need to somehow find a way around.
Welcome to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Line Creatives. I'm Svenja Line, and in each episode, I sit down with local business owners and entrepreneurs to share their stories, how they got started, what keeps them going, and what makes their business stand out. My goal? To help more amazing businesses be seen, supported, and celebrated. So grab your coffee, because this might just get creative. Welcome back to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Line Creatives, where we talk about the real stories, decisions, and strategies behind building a business. Today, we're joined by Tayler Cusick Hollman, a marketing consultant turned small business champion and the founder of Enji, a super user-friendly marketing tool built specifically for small business owners who are doing it all themselves. After spending more than a decade helping small businesses figure out their marketing, Tayler took everything she learned and poured it into Enji to help business owners get their marketing done quickly, confidently, and without the overwhelm. Today, we're talking about what marketing actually looks like when you are the one doing it all. And we're digging into Enji's State of Small Business report and what it reveals about effort, results, strategy, and confidence in small business marketing today. Welcome, Tayler.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining. That's awesome. So before we dive into the report, can you share a little bit about your journey from marketing consultant to building Enji?
Yeah, I, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I don't have a straight line sort of story. It is a true journey of how I got from point A to point B. There were a lot of little steps in between. And my background is actually in psychology and sociology, and I wanted to be a community college professor. And I just had the extreme pleasure of, finishing my master's program in the Great Recession. And so, jobs were nowhere to be found. So I had to figure something out. And, I gave the corporate world a good college try. But it was very clear that was not going to be a place where I was going to thrive. And so I ended up just getting connected with some small business owners in San Diego, which is where I spend most of my time. I split my time between San Diego and Mammoth. And, they just, finger quote, needed help with some things. And that ended up being marketing was the thing that they needed help with. So, I am forever and eternally grateful that they were willing to take a risk on this person that had no background in marketing, but was like, I'll figure it out. And thankfully, marketing is just a very real world practical application of psychology and sociology. So I picked it up really quickly. I mean, I read all of the books and things like that. But I did that I started my consulting business in 2015. And then during the pandemic, my husband, who is an engineer and has been, had been working in, enterprise level business and managing people for a long time, he was just getting bored and decided to start coding the guts of a software platform. Mm. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? It felt so strange to me that he would put in all of this effort to just do nothing with it. And so me being me, we started thinking about some ideas of what we could turn it into, because we both have been a part of startups in the past. So we have this like kind of itch to do this really hard, dirty work. And after a while, we landed on, well, hey, what if there's a way to turn what you do as a marketing consultant into software, so that when, you have potential clients who either can't afford you, it's not the right time for whatever, grab bag reason they have, that there's something that they can use to still get guidance and create some structure around how they're doing their marketing. And, we didn't think of it like that eloquently at the time. We were just like, hey, what if we turned you into software? And so we started looking around on the internet trying to find something like it, and we couldn't. So it was one of those moments where we thought, we're either crazy geniuses because we're the first people to come up with this idea, or it doesn't exist because people have tried it and it's failed miserably. And we decided that it was worth taking the risk, because, my network, once I became a consultant, my network just got stacked with business owners. And every day I still and continue to get messages and DMs and emails from everyone asking marketing questions, because this is so hard for someone to do when they don't have a background in business or marketing or some related field. And so we were like, let's do this. So that's how I ended up becoming, going from potential educator to marketing consultant to tech startup founder. And it was not something I ever thought that I would do, but I am really, really glad that my adventure has landed me here.
Yeah, but that's very interesting, because isn't it always those little ideas, that come out of nothing? Well, not nothing, but just happen to pop into your head. They turn into something really good. So tell us a little bit about this program or this software that you guys developed.
Yeah. So, the thing that most of my clients always came to me and would say, and these are clients who had no idea that these other clients existed, but everyone would say the same thing. And they would say, Tayler, just tell me what to do. And then the other question that they would have is, how am I supposed to know if my marketing is working? And that sandwiches the entire marketing experience, right? You want to know what it is you're supposed to be doing. And then in the end, you want to know that you're doing the right things, because it's actually having a positive impact on your business. And so the way we developed Enji's marketing software is you play a game of 20 questions with it, and we developed our own AI to take everything that's in my brain and have it be what creates a personalized marketing strategy for you. So it gives you the plan. It is literally, Tayler, tell me what to do, because you get that. And then there are ways that we turn that strategy into a plan that shows up on a marketing calendar. So you know what it is you need to do and when. But when you refer back to the strategy, you understand what tasks are related to what goals. Because in the end, like just doing random marketing things, that's why we all want to pull our hair out.
Yes.
And then the middle part, which is the part where everything always falls flat, is the doing of your marketing. And so we have a social media scheduler and an AI copywriter and marketing campaign templates to help you actually execute the marketing plan. Mm-hmm. And then on the back end of all of this, we have a metrics dashboard that pulls in a lot of your analytics and turns it into graphs and charts that are very visual to help you understand where you're seeing spikes in a good or bad direction or patterns over time. And so in the end, the software really is kind of a marketing consultant in digital form, because it helps you do these core things. It helps you create your marketing strategy and plan. It helps you do it. And then it also helps you track your results to see what's working.
And yeah, I think that's amazing, because as a small business owner, you have your own set of talents, and most likely marketing is not one of them. If you're a baker, you bake. Of course, you have knowledge about marketing, but to get all these details, how to even start with all that, I think that is very helpful to have just a tool that gives you the start of things.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at, so I'm building brands. So for me, it's very important that the business owner that comes to me they need to know, what is the end goal? Who is my target group? Like, what do I want this business to be, so that I can then develop the graphics because all this all depends. Good graphics, good logo, everything, how your website works and looks, it all goes back to the initial strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel that when you have a tool that, what you just described, that gives you the start and the help to even get started, that propels you forward to then know, hey, this is the branding that I need. You can work with someone who can develop that branding, and then it all works together. The website plays with the social media then, like it's all coming together, and I think it's very important. So I really like what you offer.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us about the report. I mean, we talked a little bit about the report before the show, but you created the survey by yourself. You collected all the answers, and I think that's pretty amazing. Still also have to do that. But so what is the report? What is it about? And maybe what shocked you the most? And why do you think this matters today?
Yeah. So the report is the State of Small Biz report. And I wanted to put this together. It was actually something that, we launched Enji in May of 2023. And very shortly after, it was one of those ideas that, just died in my list of ideas of things that I wanted to do. Because most of the small business owners in my network, they are solopreneurs. And when you're a solopreneur, you have this unique ability to sort of gaslight yourself and convince yourself that you are the only one who struggles with this, is fighting that, right? Can't figure out fill in the blank. And that sort of mindset and mentality really makes people shrink. And because they start to think they can't do things. And we all have already done the hardest thing by starting a business. Mm-hmm. And so we have it in us to do really hard things. But when you think you are the only person struggling with something, your ego can get in the way and prevent you from reaching out for help or advice or guidance, or just even really admitting that you're having a problem that you need to somehow find a way around. And so at the core, the core reason that I wanted to put together this report was to help other small business owners realize that they're not alone in all of these crazy experiences that we have as business owners. And so we put together the report. It was, if I'm remembering correctly, it was 47 questions, and we had 245 small business owners across 40 different states take the survey, which is great. And some of the respondents were just starting their businesses. Some are 15, 20 years down the road. We had businesses who had essentially $0 in annual revenue this year, all the way up to multi-millions of dollars in revenue. So it really was this broad representation or cross-section of what small businesses are in the United States. And the whole point of the report, in addition to this, I want people to not feel alone, was to actually document what marketing was like for small businesses in 2025. Because 2025 was an exceptional year, and not in a good way. And so I wanted to really put this on paper so that people could see what others were doing and where they had success. And, I know a lot of people are looking for this sort of, magical strategy, like this one size fits all strategy that's just gonna, like, if I just start marketing my business on this social media platform, or if I just start doing X, it's gonna totally change my trajectory. And that doesn't exist. And that was sort of my selfish reason for also wanting to put this together, is I want to drive home. I was sitting there crossing my fingers and hoping that the data would back up some of the things that I regularly stand on a soapbox about. And, 60% of the people who took this survey have no idea who I am. So, I was very happy that the report actually did back up some of the presumptions that I have as a consultant. But like I said, in the end, it shows you what is going on with small businesses in regards to marketing. And then I also have a supplemental report that breaks down where small businesses are spending their time and what channels are they on. And it gets a little bit more granular, whereas the first report is more about the patterns of what's happening overall.
Yeah, so good that you mentioned that, because I feel that as a business owner, you put so much effort into social media, whatever it is. It might be Instagram, it might be Facebook, whatever you determine would be the best for you. But in the end, it might not actually be the best way to connect. But in overall, you put so much effort in everything in marketing so that you're very overwhelmed. And then in the end, you have nothing to show for it, because you don't really, that's what I feel with social media. Okay, you have the stats in Instagram, you have the stats, how many people looked at it. But we all know how we look at things. We just look at it, and that already counts as someone saw your post. They didn't see your post. Why do you think that so many owners, they're working so much harder, especially to stand out in social media, but they're not seeing better outcomes?
Oh, yeah. This is one of those things that it was one of the stats that I was not excited to see. And before I get into the why are we putting in so much effort and not seeing results, I wanted to share this stat that 81% of the respondents said that they experienced some form of burnout in 2025.
Yes.
And the surveys went out in September, which meant there was still an entire quarter left to feel like you were banging your head against the wall. So I would make a very educated guess that it's actually way more than 81% of small business owners experienced some form of burnout in 2025. And when it comes to why people are putting in so much effort and not seeing results from it, a big part of this is that small businesses are still approaching their marketing like how they've been marketing since 2020. Or sometimes even before 2020. And I hope that this isn't breaking news to anyone listening, but marketing got flipped on its head in 2025. And so if you continued to do marketing like you've always done marketing, then yeah, you felt like you were working so hard and not getting results from it. And really, you just found yourself in a position where you felt like doing more was the only option, right? Mm-hmm. And hence the burnout, hence the I'm putting in all this effort and nothing is moving the needle. So in the end, I want to remind people that, yes, we are busy human beings. And we want to get to a place where we find the path of least resistance, so to speak. But marketing is always going to change because people always change. And marketing, you can't remove people from marketing because that's the whole point of this thing, right? And how people receive information, what they do with it, their expectations, their emotions, and, thought processes because of things that we don't control as business owners, like impact us. And so if we just keep doing the same thing, then you don't feel great about how marketing went this year. And so I also want to encourage people to really think about how learning is, or why learning is so important as a business owner. Even if it's just in little bits and pieces throughout the year, making sure that you're staying up to date with how the world has changed around you is a really important thing that you can do in order to keep your sanity and make sure that things are still working a little bit easier.
Yes. So speaking of working a little bit easier, and I know that you mentioned that is something that your program offers as well, that it helps you create a marketing plan, from the beginning. But that marketing plan has to be fluid a little bit. So it has to adjust to the new. We don't know what's happening in 2026. We don't know how far AI is going to go, we don't know that. But not having a marketing plan, you are just shooting out into the void. Everything that you do is just going to get lost. So what are your thoughts about small businesses and marketing plans? Do you feel like there's a lot of resistance, or is it?
Yes. There's a lot of resistance to it.
Yes.
There's 75% of small business owners who took the survey said that they do not have a documented marketing plan. And if anyone is listening to this episode and they're thinking, okay, I don't have a documented marketing plan, but I know what I want to do in my head, and it doesn't count. It doesn't count. If it's not transferable, it doesn't count. And the reason is because if it's not documented, that's exactly why most small business owners don't actually get around to doing their marketing, because it's not an actual thing on their to-do list or their calendar. And B, that's why a lot of small business owners feel like they are trying to herd cats with their marketing, because it's so hard to keep yourself going in the quote unquote right direction when you can't physically see where you're trying to go. And so the whole thing with marketing plans, it's kind of this lack of time and lack of knowledge problem that people have, because again, most small business owners didn't go to school for business and marketing. So you just have this fundamental misunderstanding, or just not understanding what a marketing strategy or plan even is. And then it feels like it's going to take me so much time to figure this out. And so you just go, I'm not going to do it, right?
Yes.
So then you continue to operate totally flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
And that a marketing plan is one of those fundamental foundational things that every business needs. And I love that you called out that marketing strategies are fluid. They absolutely are. Again, because the world around us changes. We change as people, right? Our goals change, and our businesses change because they need to react to both of those things, the world around us and us as the business owners. And so that's the other thing that keeps people from sitting down and actually documenting this, because then they feel like, I don't have to do this all the time. Correct?
Well, but you don't actually have to do that, because
Correct.
once you know, because you need to know in order to write, and I think that's the hurdle why a lot of people do not want to spend the time and the effort to write this down, because they don't know. They don't know. Yes, it has to be fluent, but you have to know who you want to be as a business and what you would like to achieve. So that that core information that you have, this is how I want to present myself to my clients. This is how from my point of view, is how do I want to look? How do I want to make people feel? So you need to know all these things so that you can then execute all the steps that need. Like, for example, does it make sense to be on Instagram? Maybe not. Maybe you should just be on LinkedIn. But you would never know that if you wouldn't have this core information about who you are as a business, what your mission is, and what you want to achieve. Things can change, yes, but this core, which goes then with your branding, that has to be the same. And that, and not saying that a lot of businesses after a couple of years, they do a rebrand and reevaluate, what works, what doesn't. And so can the marketing plan, but it has to be there in the beginning.
Yeah.
To even get started.
And some of those core questions and things that people need to figure out as business owners are hard to do.
Yes.
And I think that's another reason that they just put it off, is because it's not an easy thing. Sometimes it's like very easy to get your first clients and customers, right? Because you're using your immediate network, and those people are your champions and your best cheerleaders, and they want you to get your first clients and customers. So that's easy. And you can talk about things differently when you're in that phase. And then when you move 1, 2, 3 concentric circles out from there, and you start to talk to people who have no idea who you are, right? Like, you are just another human on this planet. Then you have to revisit, how are you talking to them? Who are you talking to? How are you positioning yourself? And so all of this is very core to your branding, your website design, right? Like your whole visual identity. But then also on the marketing side, what are you doing to put that identity out there and try to attract the right kind of people? So it's a very messy soup of emotion at the end of the day.
It is.
And I absolutely empathize with every small business owner who feels like they just don't have it in them to do this. But branding and marketing are not things that you can do without. And, we have to just accept the fact that we have to do these hard things, and even if they are extremely uncomfortable.
Yes. And also, there's also investment involved. So, because, again, if I'm just making examples, but if I'm a baker, my goal is to bake awesome pies. I have no idea what graphic designers do. Maybe I can use Canva, but this is not what you want to do. You want to bake awesome pies. So, and I think when you first start your business, it's very hard because you need to invest in so many things. You need to invest in a program that helps you with your marketing plan if you really want to do it. You have to invest in a designer who can really, get you the branding that you need, in a website, in all these things that are really not related to what you really want to do, make your pies. So, and that's hard because you don't have anyone yet to buy the pies. So you can't, it's hard. But in the end, and I had a lot of conversations with other businesses, they said that the best decision that they made was to invest at the beginning to start on the right foot. So in the end, that paid off.
But it feels like investing a lot of time and money into something when you have absolutely no idea how it's going to go is emotionally pretty scary. But that's every aspect of your business is kind of emotionally pretty scary. And so, this is all just about making the most educated decisions, or really guesses. This is what everything is. It's less about making decisions for your business as it is about making very educated guesses about what you can do or should do next. So yeah, but I am on team, like, invest what you can at the start, because it immediately puts you a couple steps ahead from other business owners who just decide to DIY everything.
Yes. Absolutely agree. So looking a little bit more into the report is one of the most interesting findings was that owners who use metrics are 2.8 times more likely to say that their marketing is working. So why do you think that so many founders, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but founders or business owners, they do not like looking at the numbers?
A lot of people don't like looking at their numbers because separating ourselves from our businesses is really difficult for a lot of people. And numbers are brutally honest, right? They're like, I don't have kids by choice, but I am around toddlers all the time. And toddlers can be mean sometimes, even though they don't mean to be mean, but they just are like, why does your ear look like that? Or that's a weird outfit, right? And they're just brutal. And the numbers behind our businesses are the same. They don't care, right? They are what they are. And when you can't separate yourself from the business, then it feels like a personal attack. And it makes you have all of these emotions about, I'm not good enough, I'm failing, right? The whole slippery slope of negative self-talk. And so that's why a lot of businesses are just like, I will choose to be blissfully unaware of what my numbers are. But the report showing that the business owners who track their numbers and look at them on a monthly basis, they are 2.8 times. That's nearly 3 times more likely to say that their marketing was very or extremely effective. And that's because when you track your numbers and you look at them, you can make those smartest, best educated guesses about what to do next, right? Like your numbers are kind of like the yellow brick road in The Wizard of Oz, where they start to show you the path that you can walk down because they clearly point out where you have some momentum and where you are wasting time, money, and energy. And so that's what we all need as business owners. We just need a little sort of barometer to keep us walking down at least the right direction. Like if we're supposed to go north, we don't want to end up going east, but maybe we're going a little northeast, a little northwest, but you're at least going north in the end. And so I really encourage people to start, to have a marketing plan and start tracking your numbers because they really do answer so many of the questions that we have about our marketing.
Yes, and you know where, like you just said, where you go wrong. And it's not bad to go wrong because you need that information too. And then where you should shift to, what works and what doesn't. And again, marketing plan helps with it. And so like how do tools like Enji help to bridge the gap between effort and results without adding more complexity to the whole system?
So a lot of people think that in order to do the right marketing or better marketing, they need to do more marketing. And that's really because the internet is really great at like peer pressuring us into thinking, oh, well, because we all follow so many smart people and they're all smart in these different areas of marketing. And that's one of the reasons and one of the ways that, any one person can look up one day and feel like I have to be everywhere and I don't have the capacity to do that. So what a marketing plan is really going to help you do is cut the noise out, right? Like you don't actually have to do all the things. In fact, unless you have totally outsourced your marketing or you have 40 hours a week to work on marketing, which I know y'all don't, right? I do because that's my job. So Enji is in all of the places, but I still have help, right? So when you have a marketing plan, it narrows your options and creates focus. And when you have focus, that means you're not adding work to your day. You're actually removing a lot of things as options. And so that is extremely helpful for any entrepreneur or small business owner who's currently feeling overwhelmed. And then on the metrics side of things, then when you start to track your numbers, and, it takes like 3 to 6 months to start to actually see some sort of pattern. You're not going to look at your numbers one day and be like, oh, I know exactly what it is I need to do. But once you start tracking them, you can start to make even more cuts, right? Like you're taking the scalpel to things, the proverbial scalpel, and you're, like, well, this experiment didn't work. And actually, even though I thought I was getting a lot of leads from Instagram, most of my leads are coming from Google. So like I can turn the emotional dial down in terms of how important I think this marketing channel is for me. And what Enji helps you do is, we already talked about how it helps you create that marketing plan. And Enji will only recommend 3, sometimes 4 marketing channels to any one business owner. And you can trim down from there if you want. If you look at the recommendations and you're like, I actually still don't have the capacity or the want to do those things. But Enji is really built to kind of put some blinders on and cut things out right from the start. And then when it comes to tracking your metrics, Enji makes it super easy because we have direct integrations to Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, your Google Analytics. So those numbers are just automatically populating in your account every month. So you get the benefit of tracking your metrics without having to do the work of tracking your metrics. Because I know if it was all manual entry, no one would track the numbers. So we're like, we have to make this automatic for people.
So now looking ahead and also to reflect a little bit on the report. So what do you hope small businesses or small business owners take away emotionally from the report, not just tactically?
Emotionally, I hope that they really see that they're not alone. And I hate saying that because like ChatGPT is that phrase. There's so many things, the M dash and now the ellipses and you're not alone. All of these things that...
No, my favorite is, that is the best idea you had. Yes.
You're like, stop blowing smoke up my bum. So yes, but truly, I do want business owners to realize that while we are all unique as businesses and business owners, our experiences are not unique to us. Like this is a crazy train, and it makes these stops along the way. And it doesn't matter when you get on it, every small business owner is going to experience just crazy moments. And, emotionally, I want people to know that it's normal, right? These experiences are normal, and that other people, lots of other people, right? Like millions of people started small business every year. And 99% of business in the United States is considered small business. So there are so many people who have gotten through these crazy moments. And so I hope that it helps build a little grit and resilience and self-confidence that, yes, this may feel terrible in the moment, or I might feel so confused and my confidence feels like I just got kicked in the face. But if I do something to put myself in a position where I'm going to make educated guesses, that I can too get through all of this. But tactically, I hope that this really drives home that like the things that all of the marketing experts that everyone follows talk about, right? Having a plan and tracking your metrics. Like we're not just saying this stuff. Like it actually has an impact on your business. And that's what I want people to do, is to stop ignoring these really important parts of their business just because they're not fun, or just because they feel like they have no business, making marketing decisions because I didn't go to marketing school. Like, hi, I didn't go to school for marketing. Like, I'm a psychologist.
Yeah.
But anyone can absolutely learn what they need to do and become a good marketer. And it looks different for every entrepreneur.
Yes. And I like what you mentioned with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's exciting to start your own business, but it's normal that you feel like an imposter at the beginning because you're just starting it. You do something new, and that's exciting, but also scary. And I think when you really look at the marketing plan, and if you have something clearly that points you into the right direction, your confidence grows with it. And once you made it clear who you are, where you want to go, how you want to look, and if you have all this, your confidence jumps.
Mm-hmm.
And just to mention, like, really quickly, but I had a photo shoot done this last year, and it was because I needed to refresh my images. But the person who I did the photo shoot with, she did such an amazing job to really capture who I am and who I am as a business, that even that boosted the confidence so much more. And if you have a plan, and if you have a nice branding, if you have social media really working for you because you follow, you have the help of Enji, you have a good brand, then it's so much easier in the end.
Mm-hmm. It creates this positive feedback loop.
Yes.
Where when we do things that make us feel good, we are way more likely to do it again. And so when another word that ChatGPT has totally killed, clarity. God. Yeah, this freaking ChatGPT. But, when you have clarity around things that you are choosing to do, it does make you feel so much more confident. At the end of the day, I feel like any tool, any resource, any consultant or specialist that you would hire as an entrepreneur to support you, in the end, it's all trying to boost your confidence.
Yes.
Like, we're all basically out there selling the same thing, right? Yeah. Confidence. At the end of the day, our clients and customers want to feel more confident, whether it's about hanging a picture on the wall straight or about their brand identity. It's all the same thing. Like, we as humans are so similar in how we operate emotionally. And so, I love that you called that out, that at the end of the day, we're just trying to feel good.
Yes. No, we just want to, because like I said, having your own business is exciting. It's fun. But the burnout that comes with everything else, that's less fun.
Yes.
So to close this out, so what excites you most about where Enji is headed next?
Ooh, the big vision for Enji is that we continue to build on what we've already released to really become people's small business digital marketing assistant. The thing that I have always had in my mind is I'd love Enji to get to the point where it follows the 80-20 rule, where it's essentially doing 80% of the work for you to just come in with the, that cherry 20%. Because I know in my bones that's what small business owners need. Mm-hmm. But, this year, actually, at the time that we're recording this, just 2 days prior, we released our full content calendar and planning feature that allows you to not just plan your social media content and blogs, but now your email newsletters and your YouTube videos and your podcasts. And we've added new AI copywriters to help you draft show notes and YouTube video descriptions and email newsletters and all of that kind of stuff. So now the content calendar, you can really plan everything that you're doing in Enji. And I selfishly was like, I don't want to do this in spreadsheets anymore to build these features. So that was my selfish ad. But one of the next projects that we're working on is post-level analytics. So that in addition to seeing sort of account level trends in your numbers. Enji's going to start pulling out like, hey, this was the blog post that got the most traffic this month, or this was the Instagram reel that performed best this month. And so it's all just in an effort to help entrepreneurs see, like plainly see what's working with their marketing so that they can continue to double down on that kind of stuff. So, but beyond that, the startup life is, we have business goals, but I have no idea what we're going to build because the world around us shifts so quickly. So I only know what's happening in the first quarter of 2026. And the rest of that is, what do the business owners in our community want and need from us? And then there's always a bit of competitively, what do we need to build in order to stay relevant as a piece of software? So, it's 2026 will be an exciting year, especially because we ourselves are doing a lot of that foundational brand work, like to really hone in on how are we positioning the business. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. I'm very excited too. I love that you mentioned with the stats about which post and blog post, even because blog posts are kind of like in the air. So anyways, so that's very interesting. So fun fact about you.
Ooh, fun fact about me. I started skiing at the age of 35, and this is my 6th ski season, and I'm like a child. I am like a Grom who just wants to ski their brains out every single day. And I ski 50 or more days a season. And now that we're living in our place here in Mammoth, my goal is 100 days this season.
Oh, nice.
So the snow has not been great. So I feel like a little bit behind on my number, but I'm going to try to make it happen.
The snow is in New Jersey. We have snow. We had snow since November.
Yeah, we had the ski hill opened in November and it was a delayed start, and then it didn't snow for a month. And so it was just ice. It was like proper East Coast skiing, and it's not fun. I'm sorry if you live on the East Coast and you love skiing because you have terrible conditions.
Yeah. But this year we had good ones. Though.
Yes, you took all of our snow, but there's snow again, so I'm back on track. But yeah, that's the fun fact about me is I like to ski kind of dangerous things that most people maybe wouldn't. It's because I ski with a bunch of boys who have been skiing as long as I've been alive. So it's a keep up or die the situation.
Well, but that's awesome. I used to go skiing, but then so I grew up in Germany, and skiing in Germany is a lot more affordable than it is here.
Oh yes.
So so I haven't done it that much, but yes. My daughter is always asking about. She wants to go skiing, so we will do this season. Yeah,
good.
Anyways, so Tayler, this conversation was super fun, and that was such a great and honest look at what small business marketing really feels like right now. And I appreciate how clearly you broke down what the data is actually telling us. So for anyone listening who wants to dive deeper, you can sign up to get Enji's State of Small Business Report at enji.co, State of Small Business Report 2025. And I also will link that in the show notes. And if you could tell us a little bit where people can connect with you on social, that would be awesome.
Yes, I am a geriatric millennial, so Instagram, where you're going to find me. Okay. We have a TikTok account, but I check it like once every 11 days. So, but our Instagram handle is Enji_co. So ENJI_CO. And, we have lots of fun there, but I actually have been having the most fun creating YouTube shorts. Oh. So our YouTube channel is Enji Marketing, and there's some fun shenanigans going on over there as well.
Oh, nice. I have to go check it out.
Yeah.
I will also link those in the show notes. And if this episode resonated with you, be sure to share it and leave a review. It helps more business owners find conversations like this. Thanks for listening to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Lying Creatives. Until next time. Thanks for listening to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Lying Creatives. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show and share it with someone who loves discovering local businesses and creative entrepreneurs. You can learn more about my work at lyingcreatives.com or find me on Instagram, line.creatives, and LinkedIn at Lying Creatives. Until next time, keep showing up, keep creating, and keep getting seen.